Okay, so I've decided I'm going to show you how to do this without using any VBA at all, which is probably going to be even easier to execute. So because you have Excel 2016, you have this special feature here where you can query stuff from a table. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So the first thing you kind of want to do is click somewhere inside of your square and then press Control A on your keyboard. That's going to grab all the cells. Okay, and then on the Home tab, you go over here and you choose Format as Table, and you can pick really kind of any format, so I'll just pick this one for example. And it doesn't actually matter which one I pick. Where is the data for your table? And it's automatically going to pick everything that connects, so A1 to D101, as you can see right there. My table has headers. I'm going to click OK. Okay. At that point, it is now formatted as a table, and I'm just going to let it stay selected. And you'll notice I don't have any extra tabs yet. Okay, so now what you do is you go to the Data tab, and you choose Get and Transform from a Table. Okay, it's going to load this little fancy editor here. I'm going to zoom out. And this thing has all the same data that's in your worksheet. But what you can do is you can actually click over here, and let's just pick, like let's say American Samoa, for example. Okay. Once I do that, the list gets filtered to everything from there. Now I just used some sample data I found online. Okay. At this point, you're going to click Close and Load, but you don't click this button. You click the one down below, and then you choose Close and Load To. Okay. Then I get this little pop-up that says, where do you want to send it? And the answer is I want to send it to a new worksheet. And I don't really know what these other features do, so I'm just going to leave them put, but right now it's on Table, New Worksheet, and this is not checked. Now when I click Load, I'm going to get a new sheet over here, and sure enough, it has American Samoa on there. If I go back to the dashboard, it's still selected, so I can run this again. So I'll go to Data from Table. Okay. And then this time I'll pick, say, Canada. Very good. All right. And again, go up here to Close and Load To. And New Workbook, Table, Load. Okay. And now I have a new sheet again. Perfect. Okay. So at this point, I kind of have a way to basically load that data. Now you're wondering probably, is this refreshable? And the answer is yes. And I know this because if I go to the dashboard and I pick one of these rows and I replace it with Canada, and then I go to the Canada sheet and I right click and I choose refresh, it fills in that extra row that I didn't have before. You can change the criteria on the query by, when you click on the query, it's going to have that table selected over here. So at that point, I just double click it, and at this point I can just change the criteria. You can also do multiple, like if I want to do add Andorra, go ahead and do that. Here you go. You see it's kind of like writing some SQL for you, where it's either of these two things. At that point you just say close and load. You don't have to do the close and load to because you're just editing one that you already did. Close and load to is only when you're creating a new query. So at that point, you now have kind of like these refreshable tables. Okay, so the last question you might have is, okay, well, what if I need to refresh them kind of all at once? So for that is how I would just record a macro for that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just go to the dashboard first, and I'm going to click this little button to record a macro. I'm going to say refresh all, like that. Okay. And that's my macro name. So now I go here, click here, right click, refresh, here, click here, right click, refresh, and then go back to the front. And now that I'm loaded here, I can click stop. Okay, so now if I go to insert shape, I can make a refresh button. And I can actually center that a little better. So if I go to home, I I can click these two, this one, to put it in the middle, and put that in the middle. It's supposed to work. Come on, baby. Let's see. There we go. Why it's not centering that? It's a little goofy. Okay. There we go. So at that point, my button is now set up, but it's not clickable, so I right-click on the outer edge and choose Assign, choose Refresh All. Okay. Now, when I click this, it's going to loop through the tabs and come back to the beginning. And I can actually check to see what the contents of that macro are by right-clicking it, choose Assign, choose Edit, and you'll see it's way shorter than that other macro. It's go to sheet 10, grab the first cell, refresh it, go to sheet 11. So you'll probably want to name your sheets correctly before you record your macro. And if you ever rename the sheets, then you just need to go back in here and change the names. That's pretty much all there is to it on that front. So I'm going to close this guy. And that is how you make kind of like this refreshable version. And you can really do as many as you want. So again, if I just pick this area and I press Control A, and I'll do it twice so that it grabs the header row. Because it was missing that one right there. So I did it twice. And now data from table. And obviously you could do like multiple things, so I'm going to pick, let's just look at this city for example. There you go. Close and load to a workbook, a worksheet, excuse me. And there you go. So I'm just kind of like going through and basically building all these queries that can do different things. If you want to like remove a column, I'm pretty sure you can do that, but I've actually never done it before, so let's just see if that's possible. I think what you would do is you would just click this and say remove column, and then it's no longer going to end up in the query, even though it doesn't actually delete it from over here, right? It's still part of your data set, but you can just kind of limit what you're looking at. This could be a really helpful way of kind of like shortening what you're looking at too. If you need to do summary statistics, you can do all that stuff as part of another video, or I can show you that as part of another video. I hope this helps. Bye.